Something so major has happened in Kenyan politics. Indeed, historically, the most major thing has happened in Kenyan politics. And we all missed it, including yours truly. This thing is more major than the passing on of Baba, Raila Amolo Odinga. Oh yes. It is more major than 2002 when KANU were removed from power. It is so major, it is even more major than the day Kenya attained her independence. Now, I'm not kidding, and I'm not exaggerating. This is the most sweeping, dramatic, most impactful development in the history of Kenyan politics. The effects are already being felt far and wide in the nation called Kenya, and I'm going to give you evidence. And we all missed it. Stay with me, and I promise you, by the end of my show today, you will totally agree with everything I've said since I started this video. I agree I've said very crazy things. Things that sound like story ajaba, but it is all 100% true. And I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Let me give you a little more information. On January 3rd, this year, 2026, the United States of America, DEA, those are the drugs enforcement people, the Homeland Security chaps, the FBI, the Justice Department, U.S. Special Forces, in short, a multi-agency approach was used here. All those people entered Caracas, the capital of a country called Venezuela, and captured the head of state of that country. Hiyo ndo imeleta shida. Now I can already hear somebody say, "Come off it, Chris. What are you talking about? That country is so many thousands of miles away from Kenya. What are you talking about? Chris, what are you smoking? The effects are already being felt in Kenya." Hey, Chris, where? Tell us. I will. Oh, yes, I will. But let me throw in another little information, okay, that will make you sit up. Actually, this thing that has happened very, very far away from Kenya is directly linked to the rigging of the 2022 presidential and parliamentary and senatorial and gubernatorial elections. Yeah. Oh yes, not a theory. Solid evidence exists. Anyway, let's just get on with this show. Karibuni sana na twende kazi. If truth be told, this is not the first time that something has happened very far away from Africa that has had a major political impact here in faraway Africa. Let me give you a very quick example. A very successful, filthy rich, arrogant dictator called Mobutu Sese Seko was very relaxed, was feeling okay, was feeling like he was going to rule forever because he had finished all his opponents. Nobody could stand up to him. He was a demigod. I mean, with the support of Uncle Sam, this guy was untouchable. But something very small happened in faraway Washington that marked the beginning of a very significant shift in American foreign policy. To cut a long story short, very soon after that, Mobutu Sese Seko was running away and he had nowhere to run. No country wanted to accept him. And then finally, out of humanitarian feelings, Morocco accepted him. And he fled into Morocco, where he died shortly after that. So this is not the first time. It is very normal in politics. But let's get on with this story. And please allow me to go step by step by step. Please be patient, because you will not fully grasp what is happening here unless we do it like this. Okay? And let us start by ensuring that we're all on the same page. Today I'm going to bend over backwards to be on the same page as you. Okay? Why? Because it is very important that we grasp this. Because a few things are going to be happening in Kenya, and they will happen so fast that if we don't understand this thing which has just happened, we'll be caught completely flat-footed. We'll have no idea what is happening. Okay? I will start by moving to your side and agreeing that Donald Trump, the US president, is a very bad man. Okay? He does not know what he's doing. He is dictatorial. I agree with you. Okay? He's doing things which are outside the law. I'm agreeing with you. Okay? And let us get this very clear. I'm agreeing with you only in this particular video. Don't ask me tomorrow. Okay? And somehow this madman has now become the most powerful leader in the entire world. Although it is also a fact of life that sometimes it takes a madman to sort out a problem that the rest of us sane people are too scared to even think of trying to solve. Okay? That is also a fact. Now, before I proceed, I need to give you some information. We have talked for a long time about panic in State House. Okay? But take it from me. What is going on right now in State House is not panic. We need to create another English word, invent another English word that is like 100 times more impactful than the word panic. Hey, oh yes. And that is a direct piece of evidence that what we're discussing here today is true. It is true, kabisa. You know, some people very close to you, dear, have very suddenly gotten very serious about handling the drug problem in Kenya. Okay? Some are even saying drug peddlers should now face the death penalty. Aye? Where did that one come from? All of a sudden. That is evidence of what we're talking about here. Okay? But let's go step by step. Trump. What is Trump trying to do, really? What is this madman trying to do? Huh? Can you please try and understand that first? Actually, he's trying to destroy something that has been in existence in this world for centuries. You heard me right. Not decades, centuries. The rule of many by very few. I'm trying to keep this very simple. There are many who believe he will not succeed. And actually, if you use logic, it is difficult to see how he's going to succeed. Okay? Now, let me bring back quite a number of you who I know have already lost you by giving you an example of something right here in Kenya to prove what I've just said. Okay? Homa ya Mchina. What really happened? Very few people caused dunia nzima, kila pembe ya dunia, iende kwa kitu inaitwa lockdown. Do you remember? Okay? That is what I mean. But let us speed ahead. Now that I've given you something when you think about it deeply, you will realize that it is absolutely true, yeah, that very few people on this earth can cause very major things to happen right across the globe. Na hiyo si story ajabu. It happened right here in Kenya. 2020, si mnakumbuka? And Trump is doing this by addressing problems which you all see and we know directly, which have been caused, believe it or not, the main people behind it are these few, okay, who have such a huge impact on the entire globe. One of those problems is madawa ya kulevya. Now, years ago, my political lecturer told me something that blew my mind. He told me that during the Cold War, one of the things that Russia did, communist Russia did, to deal with the Americans was to organize and to promote the influx of madawa ya kulevya into the United States of America. Now, it is very important that we realize when we talk about this problem in the US, we are not talking about bangi. No, not at all. This white stuff, sio bangi. This thing that people inject into themselves, sio bangi. Okay? That is very important to grasp. Okay? And actually, in a nutshell, what happens when somebody becomes an addict, they're really useless. And more importantly, they're actually dead people walking. And that is why we're getting figures from the US right now, where we're being told that drugs were destroyed that would have ended 1.75 million lives of Americans. I'm sure you've heard those figures. Now I'm trying to move very quickly. Already this madman in the US has managed to dramatically reduce, the influx of these very damaging, destructive things into the United States of America. But please don't lose track of his main target. Don't lose track of that. And I've given you already the people he's targeting. His main major target. The best way to kill a snake quickly is to hit the head. But what if the head is very well covered under some rock, but the rest of the body is available? You start cutting and destroying the rest of its body. And very soon, sooner or later, it will be a head without a body, and therefore useless, and therefore easy to finish off. That is the whole idea. And these few we have been talking about, Trump's target, are also the people most responsible for making Africa what it is today. A very poor, impoverished, with dictators, with corruption, with all those bad things, no infrastructure, etc., etc., because they are profiting from the same. They are making serious money, which you cannot even begin to wrap your mind around, by keeping things exactly like that, okay? On a continent that is by far the richest continent on the face of the earth. And so I'm sure you've already seen that if this madman succeeds in this mission impossible, it will have a dramatic positive impact on the continent called Africa. And of course, I'm very keenly aware that many of us believe that this madman is very racist. Okay? Today I'm with you. I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing about anything. I want us to be on the same WhatsApp group. Tukubaliane. We'll sort out our differences of opinion later, because that's not important. This is much more important than our individual opinions. Now let's come to the 2022 elections in Kenya that we all know were rigged. It was rigging on steroids, we said on this channel. Okay? Why? Because never before in the history of Kenya has somebody with so few votes, somebody who lost the election by a landslide, been declared the winner. Mwai Kibaki already had many votes. He rigged himself in. Uhuru Kenyatta had already very many votes, especially from the populace, vote-rich Murema. Okay? But never before have we had what happened in 2022. Okay? Now, we all know, I hope we do, that the main architect of that rigging was the US. Now, don't get confused, because I'm going to say a few things which may seem contradictory. But actually, They are not. Now, very shortly before the 2022 elections, some Venezuelans, oh yes, you heard me right, some people from Venezuela, where this president has been captured from, landed in Kenya and were arrested at the JKIA airport with sensitive voting materials. This was in July, very close to the elections. And of course, Kenyans remember that name of one of those Venezuelans, Camango. Remember that? And yet we have just said that the main architect of that business was the US of A. Very confusing. But let me give you a piece of information to help clear the confusion. There is a ujasusi organization in the US called the CI, you know. Okay? They normally subcontract rigging jobs to a country called, wait for this one, or shall we say it together? Venezuela. Where some time back, a very evil dictator created a company with machines and software for rigging elections across the world. I believe his name was Hugo Chavez. And according to the madman called Trump, these are the very same people who rigged the American elections and gave a man called Joe Biden victory in the year 2020, according to Donald Trump. Okay? In a nutshell, the same people who did pap in Kenya in 2022 were the same people who did the very same thing in the US in the year 2020. Many people call that a conspiracy theory, okay, from a madman called Trump. But do your own investigations. Just take time, just 1 hour. Do your own research into this issue, and you'll realize that actually the world, we in the world, have become very lazy, yeah, and very vulnerable to being fed propaganda and false information. And we swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. Let me give you a very quick example. Many people are saying that what happened in Venezuela was the usual regime change move by Uncle Sam. Was it? Think about it. Yes, it is true that Venezuelan oil is now going into the US. It's flowing into the US under the new leadership who have agreed to do so. Okay? But trust me, it was not a regime change in Venezuela like in the past. What happened is that somebody who has done a lot of damage to the US, yeah, killed millions of Americans by his actions, was arrested. Pure and simple. And on a more personal note, according to Trump, the same man who was arrested from Venezuela was very responsible for Trump being rigged out in the year 2020. Same country, same man was in charge, who allows a lot of criminal activities to take place in his country, promotes them actually. Okay? Now, that sounds a bit familiar. Which country or which other country, and this country is in Africa, does a lot of the same? Yes, you guessed right. That country is called Kenya. Let me just leave it there. I'm sure we all understand. Now, let me wrap up all this so that we understand why there's so much panic in Kenya, why Kenya has changed forever, and in such a major way. Yeah? Our politics. I am sure you have seen that anything that is supported by the current system in the world is now in grave danger. Why? Because Trump can get his people to go into that country and arrest the most powerful person in that country who is aiding and abetting and allowing illegal things to happen in their country that are harming the country called America. I'm sure you already see that. Now, what does that mean to Kenya? Let's stick to our country so that we all understand something which is very relevant to all of us. It means that all the shady, illegal things that were being done by this government are now kwisha maneno. And that is why you're hearing very strange things coming from this government, like the determination to fight drug peddlers in the country. And by the way, East Africa and Kenya has for a long time been a major conduit for the transfer of these harmful substances into Europe and North America. Na hii si biashara ya watu wadogo, hii ni biashara ya wakubwa wa wakubwa. All these people benefit from these activities. So, for starters politically, that means source of election funding. Kwisha maneno. Source of riches, source of finances, money. Kwisha maneno. Why? Because the rules have suddenly changed. Trump, the madman called Trump, is now forcing all of us, very powerful African leaders especially, who think they can do anything they like, utadu, all of a sudden we are being forced to follow the law and to do the right thing with crazy consequences. Because you cannot teach a thief a new trade overnight. He or she has been surviving on stealing, robbing people, and then now, at this 11th hour, you want them to change their trade into honest business, where profits are 5%, 10%, unauza mkate unapata shilingi moja. Do you think that will work? Of course not. So, bila kizungu mingi, the rich, the elite in the country called Kenya, kwisha maneno. Oh yes, can you chew and digest and think about that for a minute? And agree with me when I told you something so major has happened that historically it has never happened in the country called Kenya. And so, cutting to the chase, what is going to happen next? There are going to be major betrayals. Okay? Because for some people to survive, they will need to hand over other people. They will need to sacrifice their close business associates for their own survival. Hey, drama, bin drama, Arab drama, ole drama, Nyar drama, Asi drama, zote pamoja. Yeah. Now let us also confess that this thing is a bit unfair. You see, the US has got its hand on every single important pie on the face of the earth. So what it means is that, for example, you are doing a business, supplying arms somewhere, yeah, and you are making a lot of money from this operation. But then where you are supplying arms, the US is also involved. And right now we're all terrified of doing something that will rub Uncle Sam the wrong way. So hiyo biashara unaifunga tu polepole. Unafunga ofisi, you clear everything, you delete all data, and you walk away looking over your shoulder. Kwisha maneno. Please believe me when I tell you, nothing close to this has ever happened before. Just like a leader of some country far away being arrested. Just one event. Nothing like this has ever happened before. And it is going to have far-reaching, very serious consequences. For now, please allow me to leave it there and allow you to chew on this slowly. You can watch this video a second time for clarity so that you make sure you get it. Because it is very important that you get it. Because everything in our politics from now going forward is going to be controlled by this thing that has happened. This thing that has happened is going to impact on everything. Kila kitu. I don't know if you have heard that the oil which will be flowing from Venezuela to the US will now be controlled by the US. Why? So that it benefits the people of Venezuela. Why? Because before it was only benefiting a few people. Now the benefits are going to be transferred where they're supposed to be, to the people of Venezuela. That was all organized by that command man in Washington called Donald Trump. Allow me to leave it there for now so that you chew on it, you analyze it for yourself, you think about it. You can even do your own research. Chris anaongea ukweli hapa kweli. Do your own research. All of us were blessed with that wonderful gadget between our ears called a brain. Process and then get back to me and tell me where I'm wrong. And I'm very ready, as always, to be corrected. Regulars on this channel will know I've been corrected many, many times in the past, and I've accepted. So I'm waiting for your correction. Okay? Now, very quickly before I go, when the kipindi cha lala salama over my very latest offer concerning some highly sensitive information, it is super fascinating that a lot of my past highly sensitive videos, special reports, will enable you to see very clearly what we're saying here, what has been happening in the past, and the invisible power that has been controlling it all. Now, I just want to inform you that my very latest special report, which details on exactly how Jirongo was assassinated, complete with a timeline, exactly what happened when, very sensitive. Now, in case you don't have this golden key, you will only need Kenya shillings 3,999. You can see details on your screens right now. And you'll be able to gain access to this highly sensitive special report. But I also have some good news. In case you are late in getting your golden key, I have one final special offer that will allow you to get a permanent golden key. For only Kenya shillings 4,500. You'll not only get this, my latest highly sensitive special report, but you'll get all other previous special reports, all weekly intelligence briefings, everything Kumekucha will never need to pay again, for only Kenya shillings 4,500, because you'll have activated your own golden key. You can see details on your screens right now. Please move with speed. This offer expires. No extensions. No extensions. It expires in exactly 48 hours. So please rush, move with speed to avoid being left out. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.